from the Crypt.
Hello, boils and ghouls, and welcome to the Cryptique Podcast. My name's Kenny.
And my name's Godden.
And together, we're here to watch and review every horrific, often hilarious episode of the legendary HBO anthology series, Tales from the Crypt. And we're back at you live in studio together, side by side. I can reach out and touch my co-host, Godden. How are you?
Doing great, Kenny. This is so exciting every time we do the in-person.
I love it when you're here to visit. We can come hang out. We can do our actual real watching of Tales from the Crypt together, and then we can actually talk about them. So, yeah, I love it when Godden's here in studio to hang out with us. So, Godden, we're here today to talk about... do you want to say it this time?
Talk about Season 3, Episode 6, Dead Weight. It comes with a Vault of Horror. Another Vault of Horror. But this time we get Whoopi Goldberg.
Yay! Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg's in this one.
Yeah, it's fun.
So this came out July 3rd, 1991. Now, Godden, by the way, is our local horror historian.
I love that. Horror historian.
You're our local horror historian. So, Godden, what was going on around this time, July 3rd, 1991, that might be in the cultural zeitgeist, if you will? What was going on about this time?
Well, I don't think anyone was actually waiting for this episode because one of your favorite movies actually released on this day, Terminator 2.
That blows my mind that the Tales from the Crypt episode would even have the audacity to come out on a day as renowned as the day Terminator 2 came out. Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies by far.
I know.
Yeah. So I could imagine myself going to the theaters to watch one of my favorite movies.
Which is? T2.
Terminator 2, Godden.
T2.
So I can imagine going out and watching one of my favorite movies and then coming home to watch this Tales from the Crypt episode. By the way, on this visit, Godden's visiting for the holidays, and this is my Christmas present from Godden.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this, Godden. Isn't that cool? The T1000 coffee cup. So thank you very much, Godden.
How many ounces? 32.
A lot. This thing's freaking huge. So thank you very much. Yeah. I definitely appreciate that. So, well, let's get on with this episode, shall we? But before we do, I got to give the normal disclaimer. We're not experts. We're just a couple of hobbyists, a couple of friends who hang out, watch a show that we both really enjoy. And this is basically our effort to express some love and gratitude to a show that we both really enjoy. We're going to get some things wrong. We're going to get some things right. And we're going to miss some things. And either way, come let us know what you like or what you didn't like or what you wish we would have said in the comments down below. Let's build a community around this. And finally, spoiler warning. We're going to be going into great details about these episodes, so make sure you watch the episodes first before you come and watch us go on about it. Let us find out what it says. The ancient scrolls, inked in human blood, bound in human flesh, on the back of the DVD box set here for, what was the episode called again?
Dead Weight.
Yes, Dead Weight. Voodoo something to me. An occult priestess has a surprise for a thief who steals a rare black pearl. That's not bad.
Simple.
Okay.
It's simple.
We have a little something written up here. A desperate heistman, Red Buckley, sets out to steal a precious jewel that is protected by a mysterious voodoo magic. Will Red get away with it, or will he be caught red-handed?
I think he gets away with it.
You'll have to.
Who knows?
You'll have to find out. Stay tuned. Well, this episode starts off with. I love how the Crypt Keeper is in like a He's like a travel. What do you call those people?
Travel agents.
Yeah, like a travel agent. He's dressed up like in a Hawaiian shirt, and he's got all kinds of flyers, and he's got signs. One of the signs says, Transylvania Sucks
Yes.
and Lose Your Heart in San Francisco.
Yeah.
He's basically reading through a bunch of brochures that he has, and he says, "Welcome aboard, fright seers, looking for a little holiday fun? You've come to the right place. We specialize in all sorts of hackage tours. So what'll it be? A few days in a scream park? Or would you like me to book you into a nice, quiet dead and breakfast? Or perhaps you'd like to go treasure hunting, like my friend Red. He wants to steal a priceless black pearl in a tasteless tidbit I call dead weight." All right. Hey, the Crypt Keeper's pretty good at writing these synopses as well.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That's true. He does.
Not bad. Okay. Well, that brings us to the opening panel, which this is an interesting one. So you've got a man carving into another man in the foreground, right? In the mid, you've got a woman pointing a gun at them. So it kind of paints a picture like, is he doing this of his own free will, or is she kind of making him? I feel like that's kind of what the panel is suggesting here, that she's kind of maybe overseeing this, kind of making him do it, which I found kind of interesting because that's not really the way it went. He really, he's digging in on his own. And then even behind that still, you have the Whoopi Goldberg character back there, kind of just, looking at the whole thing. And it almost looks like the Whoopi Goldberg character is like a painted mural on the wall or something behind them. It's very strange the way it's set up. So scene 1 is an interesting one. And I put on the very top of my notes, love affair with a question mark. This was very heavy-handed in seeming like it was some sort of an affair. It's very strange. You got a man laying in bed. Right, this is Red.
Red, yeah.
And he's playing chess by himself. And then in comes his partner.
His partner, yeah.
Either a partner in crime or romantic partner. I'm not quite sure what they were going for here. But he comes in and he's basically trying to tell Red the plans to his heist. Mm-hmm. But they're doing so in a way that like they bicker back and forth like a married couple would. It was very strange.
Yeah, I do see that. And it's not really fair. It's kind of like collection completed with the married couple.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they would bicker back and forth a lot too. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the collection completed was the last episode of season 1, right?
Yes.
Where he took up taxidermy to kill all of her pets.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Yeah. It was good. But yeah, they bickered back and forth in a very similar way to how these two bicker back and forth. So I don't think it's supposed to be romantic, but it was very, they didn't shy away from it. They really leaned into the fact that it was almost like a couple.
Partners in crime, like you said, yeah.
So anyway, the man who walked in is insulting Red for playing chess, and Red basically says, it improves your mind, it strengthens your mind, and he reaches down ever so lightly, places his hand on top of the board, and then just kind of wafts away all the pieces. It was clearly supposed to be aggressive, but the way the actor did it was just kind of funny. This really pisses Red off. He pulls out a gun and shoots him dead and says, "If you're so smart, then why are you dead?"
I mean, he's not wrong, but it's crazy that he just crossed them just like that because he got insulted.
Yeah. Yeah, there's clearly some tension going on before. So, interesting way to start the episode. It wasn't a bad start. Oh, we didn't talk about what we felt about the episode before going into it. Our overall thoughts. Well, judging from right now, okay, the episode seems to be going on at an okay pace, right?
I have good hopes with this first scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go out and say it didn't land for me. The rest of this episode didn't really go well for me, so...
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think you and I might have similar reasons as to how we feel about the episode.
Yeah. And I just want to say that going through the rest of this episode, it gets really confusing in certain parts. I'm not really quite sure on what the episode's going for. I'm not quite sure what is important to pay attention to. I'm not quite sure the time frame of this episode. A lot of it is very ambiguous. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's done on purpose. If it was done purposefully, then it wasn't artistically... They didn't artistically stick the landing. It was just confusing It was a confusing episode, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't really know how to make any sense of it as of right now.
I mean, I agree with you. It just seems like there was a lot of plot holes at the same time. There's a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And as we talk about this, I'm sure some people would be confused as to why certain scenes just is the next scene.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we're just rolling with it at this point.
Right. That's kind of the confusion. That's the thing I'm having a hard time with going forward with this, because the very next scene he's in a bar, and I don't know if this is like the next day, the same day, 10 years
I think it's the same
from now
week.
or the same week, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really know. But Red now is sitting at a bar and he's by himself, but then in walks this very well-to-do larger man who's clearly wealthy, right? He's dressed very, very fine.
Mm-hmm.
And he even has like a very beautiful woman with him. It could be a trophy wife or something. We don't quite know who that person is yet. This turns out to be Mr. Duval. And he goes and he sits down. Red goes to join him and basically says, I understand that you run a plantation. I'd like to work for you. I'd like to work with you. And Mr. Duval kind of almost gives him like an interview on the spot, kind of an interesting interview. And he says, why would I hire you? And he says, oh, well, I worked on a farm my whole life. He goes, let me see your hands.
Yeah.
So he looks at his hands and he says, oh, no, you have soft hands. You clearly have never been a farmer. And he says, oh, I've been on a ship, right? He's kind of made up an
Yeah, he's
excuse.
in a Navy, yeah.
Right, in the Navy, that's what it was. So right away, Mr. Duval is skeptical of this man. But the woman who he's with is just crazily flirting with him.
Openly.
She's like staring at him, like longingly. At one point, she's sucking on a cigar while she's looking at him. So she's very, very forward in her flirtations with him. And ultimately, Mr. Duval asks her, should we hire him? And she basically says, why not? So he says, yeah, why not? So he's hired. Oh, I should also mention that when Mr. Duval's looking at Red's hands, we notice that Mr. Duval has these weird marks all over the back of his hands.
Scars or something,
Some sort of scar tissue or something on the back of his hands.
I should also note that when you said Mr. Duval was getting skeptical, I did like the reasons, like, well, if you're, in the Navy and didn't want to get near water, then why are you working in this island surrounded by water? It's like, that makes perfect sense. Like, why look to work here?
Right.
Yeah. That just wasn't adding up at all.
Yeah, Red's up to something.
Yeah, Red's up to something.
So this is another thing that kind of comes off with this episode is, what are Red's motives at this point? Because what he ends up getting himself into, it seems like he doesn't know about that yet. But I don't know, though. Does it? I mean, we'll see.
His partner's not there. He killed his partner. His partner was the main planner.
Right. And is this what his partner was planning? This whole ordeal with Mr. Duval? I don't know. It's a weird one. So how Red gets kind of rolled up in this whole story, I don't know. I don't get it. But let's just keep going with the plot here. Let's see what happens next. So the next scene, they're arriving at the plantation. They drive up in Mr. Duval's car. It's nighttime. And they walk up onto the porch to their, I guess it's like a manor of some sort or something.
A manor.
And when they arrive, by the way, you hear all this gunfire happening out in the distance. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Duval tells them, oh, it's the rebels. There's a revolution nearby, right? Which is also strange because to me, it doesn't ever feel like there's a follow-up to this. Throughout the episode, sometimes you hear this distant gunfire. So there's clearly something going on out in the distance, in the jungle, right?
Right.
Because they're surrounded by all this jungle. And we never really see it. Nothing ever comes of it. So this is another thing that kind of bothered me about the episode is you have all this stuff happening that never really materializes. It's just out there.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 stories in the background that no one ever talks about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the movies. It's like the episode's biting off more than it can chew, right? It's setting up more than what the payoff's going to be at the end.
Too much world building.
Yeah, too much world building at this point. So this is where we meet the Whoopi Goldberg character. When they arrive to the manor, Whoopi Goldberg walks out and she stares at Red, in particular his hair. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of uncomfortable about this. This will come up a lot more later with his red hair, but it's definitely the Whoopi Goldberg character, by the way, is Miss Pellegrini. So Miss Pellegrini is like enthralled by his hair. And at this point, Mr. Duval goes to leave and he says, Miss Pellegrini, go ahead and get Red all situated. Right. So at this point, Miss Pellegrini takes Red to his sleeping quarters, which is kind of across the property. They have to kind of walk through the jungle to get there.
Yeah.
So we get a little bit of introduction to the jungle setting. And while they're walking through there, this is where Miss Pellegrini tells them basically his red hair symbolizes life. And they don't see it very often, especially wherever they are. Where are they, by the way?
I'm going to guess like Haiti, because it's definitely somewhere southern by the coast. And I don't think it's Florida. I don't think they have plantations there.
Yeah.
Because the setting seems more modern.
Yeah, I got Haiti vibes as well, or maybe
Costa Rica.
Yeah, maybe there, or maybe I don't know. I was thinking if it was in America, it would be down in the deep South, but not modern era, right? Like maybe in the I don't know where this takes place. I don't know when it takes place.
Feels like the 80s or 70s to me.
Okay,
like that.
Sure. Yeah, they're driving a car.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, by the way, something that we missed before. So Mr. Duval had left them on the patio, basically saying, "Okay, go show him to his room." Before that scene wrapped up, Catherine, the woman that was flirting with him at the table, kind of stuck around out on the porch and says, "If you need anything, you just let me know." So she's still flirting with this guy. Okay, so that had happened, and then they walked into the jungle. So I just wanted to put that out there too, because that's going to come in later. So Miss Pellegrini finally gets him to his his hut or house or sleeping quarters or whatever you want to call it. And as soon as they get in there, there's this a severed, bloody ram's head like nailed to the wall.
Yeah.
And it's like so fresh that the blood is literally dripping down the walls. Okay. This is clearly like this is clearly very strange voodoo stuff going on. But everybody's reaction is very strange. Well, Red's reaction is normal, right? He's like, what the heck is this, right? He's like all weirded out about it. But Miss Pellegrini is like basically shaming him, saying, you should be more careful, especially about things you don't understand. Can you imagine how odd your beliefs seem to others? Which on the surface seems like a really poignant thing to say. But in the situation of a bloody ram's head, severed ram's head with blood dripping down the wall, that's a lot to wrap your mind around. To just show up to somebody's to where you're supposed to sleep and see that up on the wall, that was a bit much to me.
Yeah, it's kind of a slap to him. It's like, how dare you act that way? It's like, well, who expected that?
That's a bit much. That's a bit much to wrap your mind around. By the way, this episode, I know it. I already feel it while I'm going through it. We're kind of jumping back and forth, which I'm sorry about because I know listening at home, it might be hard to follow along. But I did leave something out. When they were walking through the jungle, Red had asked about Mr. Duval's hands and the marks on his hands, and Miss Pellegrini said that they're the spirit. She called them the spirits or something like that.
Well, yeah, they're the effects from evil spirits when you conjure them.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that essence of the voodoo kind of coming in, the kind of weird, strange, ritualistic voodoo that's kind of intertwined throughout this episode. That's, again, not really explained. They don't really do much for explanation. They just kind of leave it out there. This episode's very ethereal that way. It doesn't really, there's no real substance going on here. It's just kind of weird mysticism, kind of whatever. So after Red gets situated in his room, he basically goes back to Mr. Duval's manor and he lets himself in, and that's where he sees the Black Pearl. That's where you kind of see I guess where this episode starts to go in this direction. He sees the Black Pearl and he's kind of marveling at it. It's in this glass case. Mr. Duval comes out and basically says, "Oh, you'll never see another one like this. Sure, there are other Black Pearls, but not like this one." So this one has some sort of power to it or something. He never explicitly says that it has a power to it. We just kind of assume it has a power to it.
Right.
And like he says also it has protection. Like there'll be alarms that sound if you take it, which it does get taken later in the episode and there are no alarms. So what is it protected or not? And is it valuable? And if it is valuable, how is it valuable? You don't really know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't know if that was like just a wives' tale or something about it, but I hate that it was just the middle of like the living room, just encased in the glass. And maybe when later it is missing, maybe the person who took it just knew the way around the alarm and was able to deactivate it. Because if anything, only Red would not know how to come across that.
Right. Yeah, so this is, to me, what the point of the episode is, right? He wants to steal this Black Pearl. But did he know of its existence before he walked into the manor and saw it there? There was no evidence to suggest that he knew what he was up to. Like, why did he want to get close with this Mr. Duval character? Why did he want to be part of this plantation? I mean, was he planning some sort of a heist all along and just stumbled upon the Black Pearl? Or is this some... I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And it... Not that it makes a difference to what the episode is as a whole. It just speaks to how the episode is as a whole. The episode, it just seems to make it up as it goes. It doesn't really seem to have a point until it gets there, and then the point it does make is really haphazard, and I don't know. I'm still grappling with how I feel about this episode while we're talking about it.
Well, like the first scene when his partner comes in, he was saying like, he's just talking about the plan, right, of stealing the jewel or whatever it was, and part of the plan is learning how to escape with a boat. So I think he pretty much had all 90+% of the idea, and maybe Red was just supposed to be like the security or just the bodyguard, right? He actually would just been just the lookout guy or something.
So they did mention the pearl in the very beginning?
I'm not sure if they said pearl, but he did mention about the plantation, about he's saying he's getting it going, that all he needs now is just a boat to make sure that he escapes. And then when Red was gonna say, I have an idea, he's like, no, you don't have good ideas at all. Like, don't worry about it. Like, let me handle all that because you don't know what you're doing. And I can kind of see that with the episode because he really doesn't know how to come across like stealing it and whatnot. He's playing it by ear for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, it seemed like so were the writers and director. So after we get introduced to the Black Pearl and its mysticism that's enshrouding it, Red leaves, goes to the patio or the porch, and he sees that Catherine is there. So he walks to the end and starts talking with Catherine. And by the way, she is by a chessboard, and the chessboard, by the way, is black and red pieces.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting because we just got finished being introduced to the Black Pearl.
And he's a redhead.
And he has the red hair, which everybody in the episode seems to be enthralled about. So this dichotomy between black and red was really interesting. The red being life, they call that, symbolizes life. And then black would be the death. Yeah. Or I would assume, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So life and death. They don't explain it. That's just kind of me grasping for straws at that point. But I just thought it was interesting that they did highlight so much the black and the redness of the they highlighted the colors black and red so much.
Oh, actually, thinking about that now, it was always dark and it's lit up by fire. So that's another like fire, red and black kind of color sequence.
The dark being lit up by the red fire. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I just thought, I could see more of that now.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. So the two of them are at the end of the porch, and they're kind of talking back and forth, and they kiss. There's an affair going on, right?
Yeah.
So Catherine's getting what she wants. She definitely was very forward about flirting with Red, and they kiss, and Red even takes the chess piece, a red chess piece, and knocks over one of the black chess pieces. So life destroying death. And then he says, Red King takes my queen. And they go immediately to the bed, and they just go for it, Godden. They go for it.
Yeah. It's one of the more tasteful scenes that we've had for Tales from the Crypt. Because the one that I think of that's really bad was Lover Come Hack to Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still burned
Yeah.
into my brains. All that
It's just
that
unnecessary.
gratuitous, long, unnecessary sex scene that was just so over the top.
Yeah.
This one was much more tasteful than
Yeah.
that. But yeah, they have a little sex scene there, and then the next, or not the next morning, it's that night after they finish. She gets up to get some water, and they're talking. But while they're in bed, again, you can hear the gunfire in the background. So there's more of that rebel fight that's happening somewhere out there. We don't ever see it, but something's going on out there. So again, there's a lot of these loose ends that are still out there that you're still kind of waiting to see how everything ties together. And by the way, when there was the shooting back and forth, you heard it too. There was the Wilhelm scream.
Yes, there was a Wilhelm scream at some point, and I was just like, that's odd.
Yeah. I always associate the Wilhelm scream with being in like an action adventure or comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare to hear it in something that's much more somber, like something like this. This was not a funny episode.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
So while they're talking back and forth, they come to an agreement. Okay, he wants to take the Black Pearl, and he's going to use her to get through the alarm system. And she seems in on it. She's like, okay, yeah, I kind of want this Black Pearl too. I'll help you out with that as long as you get it and figure out how to get it off the island.
And they clink.
And then they cling to it.
Yeah.
So this already is starting to remind me of the sacrifice.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Yeah.
Because in the sacrifice, he had fallen in love with the wife of the rich guy,
Right.
and then they agree to kill the rich guy for the money and to be together. So in this episode, right, they're agreeing to be together to not necessarily kill the husband, but to get that Black Pearl. So that scene ends, and the next scene is very strange, Godden.
I like it a little bit.
It was weird, but he wakes up alone in bed, but there's something beside him.
Yeah.
Like underneath the covers. So he throws the covers back, and there's a dead chicken, all bloody underneath the covers, which, I mean, somebody put it there.
Somebody put it there. And we'll find out exactly who it is.
Yeah.
Shortly after.
Was it that Pellegrini woman who put it there? Was it her?
Most likely.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed when you see like the dance happening under the sheets, and then when you unveil it, it's a chicken. At first, I thought it was like something more obscure, like an eldritch, like animal or something eldritch. But it wasn't that. It was just a chicken.
Yeah.
And Pellegrini was just doing it as a spiritual protection kind of thing.
Right. She did say, "I'm trying to protect you."
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a strange scene. Again, more that voodoo essence kind of coming through. Just a lot of things happening in this episode, and watching it, I really was trying to follow the narrative through.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, there's only so long I can go without knowing what the heck's going on before I feel defeated. And I don't know if it was at this moment or a little bit before where I really started to feel like I was kind of getting steamrolled by the plot. Like I just didn't. I at some point you just kind of give up and say, whatever, I'll just watch this and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because I really was trying to follow the narrative, and I think it was probably at about when they had gotten to the manor, because you get introduced to the two main men. One of them kills the other one. Okay, this is strange, but I'll see where this goes. Then the next scene is the bar, and you think, okay, he's trying to buddy up with this guy to get, okay, I'll see where this goes. Then they show up. And there's this weird fighting happening in the background, and the Whoopi Goldberg character comes out and starts to introduce some voodoo stuff. I think at about that point, I started to kind of tap out and be like, I'll just see where this goes, because I have no idea, right? But anyway, okay, let's get back to it. So the next scene, it's the next day, they go back to, Red goes back to Duvall's place, and there's army men everywhere. So this is where, maybe this is the rebels, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not the rebels. It's protection for Duvall. Basically, Duvall's got army reinforcements at his house to help out with the situation. And this is where Duvall tells Red, look, I'm going to stay behind. You and Catherine go and get a head start. Red basically says, well, what are you going to do? You're just going to hang out here? And this is where Duvall basically says, look, I'm going to stay behind, and I'm going to basically put up one hell of a fight. I'm not going to go quietly. So basically, Duvall's just going to sacrifice himself. He's going to stay put. and he's going to allow the rebels to just come and take over. Is that the sense that you got, or?
Yeah, it seems like he was just gonna finish his last business there, but he wanted Catherine he wanted Red to take care of Catherine, get them out first, and then he'll join later because he's not that fast. He limps. He wants to make sure. He definitely wants to get all his money out. That's the vibe I got. So it was believable. Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm with Red.
Okay. So we jump forward to that night, and we're back. I think we're back at Red's place, and Catherine runs up and basically tells Red that the pearl is gone. Right. So together they go back to Duval's place, and they find, yes, indeed, the pearl's gone, but also Duval is basically ransacking his own place.
Yeah.
He's going through his safes. He's collecting all of his money all in a little bag. And at this point, Red says, basically, give me the black pearl. And Duval says, even if I had it, I could not put my hands on it. And he keeps saying, I could not put my hands on it, which we find out is true. Where it is, he can't put his hands on it.
That's true, yeah.
So Red shoots Duval. Okay, so Duval's dead. And then in comes Catherine. And they start rummaging through Duval's bag. They find a bunch of cash. They throw the cash all over. So they don't care about the cash.
They don't.
They're looking for the black pearl. And this was an interesting scene. He sees a bunch of balloons in his bag. And he deduces that, he must have put the black pearl in a balloon and swallowed it.
Right, because I didn't even understand that.
Yeah.
You got to explain to me. Yeah.
So, oftentimes depicted in movies, when drug smugglers want to get drugs past security checkpoints, they'll actually swallow the drugs in balloons and then just pass them later.
Right.
Right. So that's kind of the vibe that I got, and then Red was able to kind of understand that really quickly. And this, I think, is the best scene of the episode.
I agree. I think this carried the episode to a higher score.
So Red realizes the only way to get the black pearl is to actually cut open Duval, reach into his stomach, and get the black pearl out manually.
Right.
So when he opens up his shirt, he sees that not just his hands, but his stomach has all of those marks, right? Those spirit marks. And when he cuts open his stomach, you find out that it's these maggot worms.
Yeah,
things.
just all inside.
So when he cuts open the stomach, he rips it open, and this effect looks fantastic, by the way. And the sound effects were good, too, in this part.
A lot of squelching.
It's so squelching and goopiness.
Yeah.
It was just really glocky. And so he opens up the stomach. There's all the bile and the intestines and the stomach in there. And then it's just covered with worms and maggots. He reaches his hand in there, pulls out the intestine, cuts the intestine, takes out the balloon, opens up the balloon, and there's the black pearl. So he's finally gotten it. And at this moment, this is where Catherine pulls out the gun and basically says, give me the black pearl. So this is where that double cross comes from. Again, reminding me right back to sacrifice. So, but this is where that voodoo twist finally comes in. Miss Pellegrini walks in with that voodoo doll, sticks the voodoo doll with a needle through the chest, and then, what's her name? Catherine falls down dead, having that hole through the chest. So that's that voodoo payoff, I suppose, right? All that voodoo was kind of built up, I think, for this moment to explain how she died from that moment. Anyway, Miss Pellegrini at this point offers to help Red escape, takes him back through the jungle, but she brings him back to his village. And he's like, basically, what are we doing here? And she says, the spirit lives in your head. You must have a very special spirit because of his red hair. She takes out a machete, chops off his head. Down he goes. Blood squirts out the top of his neck. More practical effects. Really great practical effects. She picks up the pearl. She throws it away. She picks up his head and she takes it down to the village. And that is the end of the episode.
Yeah. A lot of unanswered questions.
I didn't get it. I don't get it. Does the black pearl have power or not?
If it did, she would know.
And does his red hair have power or not? And what is the power of his
just life?
I don't know. It would if she became obsessed with him and started trying to cut his hair or take his hair, that maybe I don't know, and maybe use his hair to do something with it. I don't, it's just, it was such a weird, bizarre episode. So, and what was up with the rebels? What were the rebels doing? Were the people in Miss Pellegri's village, were they the rebels?
See, I was going to give points to maybe like there was the whole rebels and revolution happening because maybe Mr. Duvall took the Black Pearl from like the land and that was causing the commotion. But that clearly wasn't the case because Miss Pellegri did not care about the pearl. She just tossed it to the side like it's just a, another piece of rock. So there was no significance to it. Or like, they made it seem like maybe it's a cursed object. Maybe that's why he had the whole worm issue. But she didn't care. So like that kind of disputes that too. So I was just lost as to what was the most important thing. It's just a black pearl. Like that's it. It's just worth money. Like at the end of the day, there was no other significance. But like it just didn't make sense. Like what was the whole point of them trying to do the heist in the first place? Just money, right? Like it has to be just that.
Yeah, that's a good point. You brought up a few good points. Like if he stole the Black Pearl from the natives, then it wouldn't, like that would make sense until the fact that she just threw it away. And if the Black Pearl had some innate power, that would make sense until she just threw it away.
She didn't care.
Right. So yeah, it's like it was a whole to-do about this Black Pearl that really amounted to nothing. It was basically Red's greed for a perceived something valuable, only to have his head be chopped off. It was very strange.
Well, the one thing I was thinking about earlier was, so there was two animals in this cabin, right? There was the ram's head and the chicken. Right. But maybe I'm singing. I can't explain the ram portion, but I think the headless chicken in his bed is supposed to be him eventually when he gets his head chopped off. Like maybe it wasn't a protection thing. Maybe it's something for her. Maybe she lied to him about it. It's not like a protection thing at all.
So, but the ram's head was missing a head, right? I mean,
missing
the ram
a body.
was missing a head.
Oh yeah.
So it was ram's head, and then a chicken without a head, and then he loses his head.
It was headless. I'm trying to make a connection there, but yeah, I don't know. There's too many loose interpretation for this episode because we're just left unanswered with the voodoo stuff, left unanswered with the gem stuff. The only thing that really sticks is that he's planning a heist that went bad, and he pays for it.
Yeah, and like through all of this confusion, there was no there was some good practical effects. I'll give the episode that. Yeah. Okay, but there's no standout performances. Even Whoopi Goldberg, I thought was kind of just a deadpan, kind of a boring role. Nobody was really funny. There were no frills in the episode. It was just kind of a boring dud of an episode. I didn't like it. We'll get to the scores later. But as of right now, I just want to let you know that is a bit of a dud. Yeah. So we cut back to I actually like this outro though.
I'm glad you did.
So the Crypt Keeper almost like has like a talk show, and his guest is Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah. So Whoopi Goldberg is at the very end of this episode. And would you do me the honors if I'm the Crypt Keeper? Would you be my Whoopi?
She's an EGOT, so I'll happily be Whoopi.
So the Crypt Keeper says, "Ooh, talk about being headed off at the pass. We've got a guest, kiddies. Whoopi, it's a pleasure to meet you. I want you to know that I loved your movie, The Killer Purple."
That's Color Purple, Crypt Keeper.
Oh, right. Well, congratulations on winning that Academy Award.
Well, thanks, but actually it's called an Academy Award.
Whatever. Look, it's a pleasure to meet a big star like you.
Now, you're a pretty big star. I mean, I'd love it if you'd be in my next film.
Really?
And then she pulls out a machete. Yeah, just a bit part.
I'm flattered.
But you don't know what bit I want.
Well, as long as I don't wind up on the cutting room floor.
And then he proceeds to laugh maniacally, and he's like, "Okay."
I like that last little, okay. Like, she's like, that's enough. Yeah. That was good. All right. So, yeah, a decent outro. Kind of a fun idea with the whole talk show thing.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah. It's just an episode it was overly confusing. There were too many pieces. Yeah. With too many loose ends. So I was lost. I had a hard time following the narrative. Even the second time through, I had a hard time following the narrative. Yeah. And the narrative they did decide to swoop in on and actually tell the story of it just seemed cobbled together. It just seemed, I don't know. Like if he had talked with his partner about the legend of the Black Pearl and talked about how much money they're going to make, and he says, nope, all the money I'm going to make, and then killed his partner, and then went from there, that would have really helped propel the narrative of the story forward. But the fact that it was told so loosey-goosey like this, it didn't feel like the story was going anywhere. And then by the time it finally was going somewhere, it felt like it was only like just, oops, I guess we're doing this now.
I think that's what the title is. Dead Weight. We just waited for just the characters to die. And
Oh
that was
my
it.
gosh, we waited for nothing.
Yeah, let's get to our rankings. Maybe. Oh no, we have to do the final thoughts first.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I guess let's talk a little bit about things that we think this is similar to. So the voodoo aspect of it, this really was. I already mentioned how it's similar to the sacrifice because of the whole, like the double crossing of lovers and that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's also similar, I think, to Till Death.
Yes.
Because it has that voodoo element. So Till Death was the one where he gave her the love potion, and then she fell in love, but then she couldn't die because she had to, right, the rest of his life he needed to be loved by her. So also similar, I don't know if it was the same location, Haiti, but it seemed like it was. Very jungly, very voodoo-y. So very, very similar episode. I'd much rather watch Till Death.
I did enjoy Till Death because it was more consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till Death was an actual lucid story that had like a one thread narrative that was easy to follow. When you start throwing voodoo into things, especially with that voodoo doll with the needle, child's play. I love that scene when he goes to the voodoo priest as the doll, and he basically says, "Look at me, I'm a."
Oh yeah,
right, and then he actually used the voodoo doll to do his whole torture. Remember that? He did use the voodoo doll in that scene, so I love that, and that's something that I really liked about the early Child's Play, or the first one especially, was how they really leaned into the voodoo. They kind of did away with it with number 2 and 3. I guess they kind of went back to it in later movies, but I just like the way they did it in the first one.
Let's just do the first trilogy.
Yeah.
It's the best one.
And then there's the idea of, right, there being like with the black pearl or being like a rare jewel that's kind of coveted. I thought of... well, Pirates of the Caribbean, just because of the fact that it's a black pearl, right? But there's also the Temple of Doom. Remember, they're going after that rock, that weird, strange, glowing rock,
right?
And it doesn't. We don't really know what the rock does. It's just important to the village, and they want it back.
Is that the one where he gets chased by the boulder, or am I thinking of a different?
That's the first one. That's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, that's Lost Ark. Okay.
Boulder comes down to him. Yeah. Temple of Doom starts off where they're eating the monkey brains.
I remember the first one and the Crystal Skull.
Okay. Yeah. So you like the original trilogy of Child's Play. I suggest that you might also like the original trilogy of the Indiana Jones, because
that'll be on our watch list.
The newer ones aren't as good.
Okay.
Yeah. The Raiders of the Lost Ark, followed by Temple of Doom, which has that voodoo part in it. And Temple of Doom, they also have that voodoo thing where he's sticking him with the doll. They have that as well. At the very, very end, there's one of the final fight scenes. He's fighting this big, huge guy, and one of the girls is poking Indy with a voodoo doll.
Oh, well, I'll figure that out soon. Yeah, so, I'll see that.
Anyway, anything else you can think of with rare jewels or something like that, or?
Well, for movies, Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. That whole...
I haven't seen that one. What is that one about?
So he's a jeweler, and he makes his money off like a pawn shop, but he specializes in just all kind of knickknacks. And he is a big gambler, and so he ends up getting to like some sort of debt, I think like with some sort of mafia crew. Mm-hmm. And at one point or another, he actually had one of the basketball players for like a team that he really like enjoys comes to the shop, and then he notices the rock, and then there's a whole narrative like whether the rock gives him power or not. It's like a really green gem, and we kind of want to say it's just more of a placebo for the basketball player, but yeah, that's the whole thing. Like it was a crazy chase scene and like a double cross scene, and he eventually dies, just trying to get that rock for the basketball player and vice versa. But
yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see here. Dead Weight. If we had to come to a score of this, I'm not impressed with this one. I think I think it's not going to be that I just don't like it. It's like I actively don't like it. Like I think I have like a very mild hatred for this episode. It's just it actively annoys me, this episode. So I'm actually this is gonna be the lowest score I've ever given an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Really?
I don't think this is gonna make it to a 1-pointer.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna go with a half a point. I'm gonna go with a half.
Wow.
Of a worm in your body.
Half a worm.
Half a worm in your body. I'm gonna go below 1, a half a point.
That is your lowest.
Not a 0. It's not a 0. But I don't like this episode.
Okay. Half a worm for so far your most hated episode.
This is absolutely the worst episode so far. Because I think I have given out a 1 so far. I think my lowest episode so far, I think I did give a 1 out to right there.
Sacrifice.
The Sacrifice I gave a 1 to. And this is worse. I'd rather watch The Sacrifice.
I could see you watching it again, yeah.
I would much rather watch The Sacrifice.
Wow.
What is your lowest episode so far?
I have a 2 in there.
Where is your 2?
Mute Witness to Murder.
Oh, right there. Mute Witness to Murder.
Oh, and Lover Come Hack to Me.
And Lover Come Hack to Me, you gave a 1 or 2.
No, that was average. Never mind. Yeah, so Mute Witness to Murder is my lowest score.
Would you rather watch this or Mute Witness?
You know, funny enough, my score is not going to determine why I watch something, but I'd rather watch this again than Mute Witness.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just think Mute Witness just was. I'm not the target audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but well, I'm a little more giving with this score because I thoroughly enjoy the intro and outro. I love the first scene and how like it started. I think it had a really good strong start with him just killing him after he was getting berated, and then the autopsy scene. So I think that alone I can push it to a 2 realistically, but everything else, yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't linear, and it's not that it has to be linear for me. It's just so many unanswered questions, so many pieces brought, but so many just left out.
Yeah, you mentioned, I like the way you put it too. Too much world building. They did. I guess it was effective at building an interesting world. They just didn't do anything with it, and it was more unanswered things that they didn't tie up enough loose ends. This feels to me like a very first draft that they just pulled the trigger on and said, let's go for this. And they didn't bother to really think about how to tie pieces together, or like that whole red and black thing going on.
Could have done more.
I really like that they really, because they've been calling him Red the whole episode. Then you finally get introduced to the Black Pearl, and then the very next scene is that black and red chessboard. So I really thought, wow, they're really going to lean into this black and red, dynamic going on here. No, that was it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know what the whole point of the story was at all.
Yeah.
Voodoo wins?
Voodoo wins. If you have an idea of what the heck they were doing in this episode, leave it in the comments below. Speaking of comments, Horrorspondence. God, let's talk about some Horrorspondence. So we're hearing back from a few people here. Iron Sabbath writes back to us. He writes regarding Abracadaver. He said, glad you both like this episode as much as I do. Fun piece of trivia. The comic this episode is based on is actually titled Dead Right. And that's an episode. That's another episode.
Yeah, it is.
Which is the same as the season 2 premiere. So the title is completely made up for the TV series to avoid confusion. And I actually really like the title Abracadaver.
I think it's such a good way.
That's a great title. That's such a good title. He goes on to say, so I had talked about, remember that story of the man being hanged, and his whole future life with his family flashes through his mind before he gets actually hanged. That Iron Sabbath comes through and says, it's referring to an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. That's the name of the story. Thanks so much for that. He also goes on to say it was an episode of the original Twilight Zone. We watched that episode this morning. So thank you so much, Iron Sabbath. Yeah, we went and watched that episode. That was a fantastic episode.
I enjoyed it.
I actually learned that it wasn't a Twilight Zone episode in that it was filmed and written by the people who did Twilight Zone.
No.
It was actually already a short film in France. And they just kind of, I guess,
Want to showcase
copy pasted it basically onto their program. So Rod Serling gave a nice little introduction to it and basically said, this is the very first time that we're going to have an episode that wasn't a Twilight Zone episode, but something else. So there's a short film made in France, same title, an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. A lot of good symbolism in that episode too. I really liked. After he was hanged, his rope broke. He falls into the water. I really like that when he finally gets to land, he crawls up onto the shore. He crawls into the forest, and he stops and he grabs a flower and he smells it. Mm-hmm. So the moment he actually realizes that he has a life again, he stops to smell the roses. Literally. I thought that was a really beautiful. Visual. It was very, very striking. Good. Very good episode. It was season 5, episode 23. I think.
Yeah, 20 something for sure.
20 something.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in checking that out, it was season 5, episode 23 or so. So go check that out if you're interested in that. Thank you so much, Iron Sabbath. That was great. And by the way, your name is awesome. Every time I see your name, I want to say either Iron Maiden or Black Sabbath.
Yeah, it's just it's hard to say Iron Sabbath without thinking of the other.
I'm not quite sure which one's your favorite band. They're probably both equally the same. Or is it Iron Butterfly?
No,
it's Iron. It's Iron Maiden, obviously. Okay. Joseph Hill writes us. This is also regarding the Abracadabra episode. He says, "I'm on board with you guys. This is another great episode. Season 3 is one of my favorites in the series. I would also rate it a 5 voodoo platters out of 5. I love that you're taking, that you're running with grading it on items from the episode. I love that you're doing that. Voodoo platters. I love it. And you also give a shout out to Iron Sabbath for coming through with the fun facts. I love this. I love having this community that we're building. This means so much to me. The correspondence portion of this episode still remains to be one of my favorite parts of the podcast. This is a lot of fun for me. Oh, and how funny is it that you bring up season 3 being one of your favorites, and I just gave the lowest score I've ever given. I'm gonna take your word for it, though. I really think that season 3 is gonna get much better than this.
It can't get any lower from there.
No, it can't.
It can't get lower.
Can you imagine the next episode I give a 0 to? I don't think so.
I think we quit. We just go to season 4.
Forget it. This was a fun run while it lasted. Next up, we hear from the Jamirian, who is writing to us from All Through the House, which is the second episode of season 1. So, Jamirian, I'm getting the impression that you're starting from the beginning and going through. Keep going. I'm glad to have you on board. Keep going. Keep your comments coming, even if it's from episodes way far back. We love hearing this. He says, great breakdown of the episode. Thank you very much, by the way. In regards to the Crypt Keeper mentioning the little girl survived, it's probably also a reference to the comic. In the original comic, the radio broadcast makes a specific mention that the murderous Santa doesn't harm children. Yeah, that was interesting because he was there with the girl and he said naughty or nice to the woman, and then she just she proceeded to yell no, 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 no on the staircase while, staring. And you don't see what's going on. So it is like you do think, is he hurting the child? Is he doing something that the mom's, witness to, or is it just, with something else going on? So the fact that the Crypt Keeper does say, don't worry about the little girl, she's fine. Yeah, that does. I guess it is important for the viewer to understand that, the girl's okay.
One of the girls is okay.
One of the girls is okay.
Yeah, like Kenny said, keep them coming. We love the engagement. It is so fun to read everyone else's perspective and takes on it, especially when they're biased and they match us. We're like, oh yes, of course you made the best take. If they agree. But obviously, I would like to see other perspectives because it, more eye openers. Yeah, never hurts.
I like it when they disagree with us sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I've yet to really find ones that disagree, and I wouldn't mind just having a civil conversation about it. Like, oh yeah, maybe there's some points to that.
Yeah. I definitely like if you catch little nuances that I didn't catch or we didn't catch. That's nice. That's
helps
really,
a lot.
really nice. Yeah. All right. Well, that brings us to another important part of what we're doing here, which is, I think, shout outs. I do want to give credit to other people who are doing stuff similar. If you like this whole format of just a couple of dudes hanging out, talking about a show that they both love, check out, there's 2 of them, Creeps of the Crypt and the Crypt Keepers podcast. They both go through the episodes of Tales from the Crypt. Go check them out. if you visit them and you like what they have to offer, I want you to leave a comment and let them know that the Critique podcast sent you. I want to get some back and forth going on there. Haddonfield Radio, Return, Revenge, Resurrection. I talked a lot about them last week. If you haven't checked them out, go ahead. I'll leave their information down below. And finally, there's us. If you like what we are doing here, there's more ways to get us. So my name's Kenny, and I can be found at Too Bad About Kenny with the number 2 and with TOO. So on YouTube and on Twitch, I do movie reviews, book reviews. I also do streams of video games. So come through, say hello. I'd be happy to chat with you there. Godden, how about you?
Well, for me, they can find me streaming at Twitch as well, at UAPP06. But most importantly, check out our Twitter at Critiquers. There you can we have more engagement. And if you don't use YouTube as often, you can reach out on Twitter and get updates from us.
All right. Yeah. And with that, we want to remind you that if you are keeping up with us and if you want to stay up to date on what we're doing, next week we'll be watching Season 3, Episode 7, The Reluctant Vampire. So make sure to watch that. That way you could be up to date by the time we're right back here next week. We'll see y'all later, kiddies.
Well, how was that for a scream, Poison Ghoul?